Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to another episode of All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. And today we're talking about a weapon for Patrick Mahomes, Steve. None other than wide receiver Tyler Lockett. Let's talk about it.
Before we get the show started, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button to help your boys grow this channel, baby. And let's talk about a weapon for Patrick Mahomes, Mike. It's what we've been missing all year, and we still won a Super Bowl. So let's add one, baby. And who better than a Kansas State guy?
Who better? Who better? Our boy Wes Roche over at A to Z Sports. Chiefs could be a great landing spot for Seahawks cut candidate wide receiver Tyler Lockett. He goes on to say wide receivers expected to hit free agency next month include Bengals T. Higgins, Colts Michael Pittman Jr., Bucks Mike Evans, and Cardinals Hollywood Brown, among others. However, there are a few cut candidates around the league that would make sense for KC. One of the most notable potential cap casualties is Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Tyler frickin' Lockett. He's locked up in Seattle, I like that wordplay, for 2 more years, but the Seahawks could designate him as a post-June 1st cut and save $17 million. I think he got that, Steve, from our boy Nick Spano. Jesse, I'm so excited. That's who he got it from.
Jesse's uncle out there doing the Lord's work, talking about all these potential cuts.
Potential. He said that's a lot of dough for a receiver who will be turning 32 in the 2024 season. This is the final thing. The biggest hurdle for the Chiefs picking up a guy like Lockett would be the salary cap. Lockett could probably draw around $11 million per year on an open market. The Chiefs might be able to afford that depending on how things shake out with their other free agents. Of course, a different team could end up paying Lockett more than that, but he may consider going to KC for a good chance at earning a Super Bowl ring. Steve, we've heard that time and time again. Players don't want to win. Players want money. Steve, what do you think about Tyler Lockett? Do you even think he's a good fit?
I think he's a great fit. Like the experience that he brings to the table. He's got the 4.4 speed. He's a smaller guy, but he plays bigger than that. He's perfect for the Andy Reid offense. Absolutely perfect. Fan favorite just because he went to college at K-State. A lot of people like him around the area. I think he's originally an Oklahoma guy. But, yeah, I mean, Tyler Lockett would be a great fit. Like I said, you get the athleticism, you get what Andy Reid likes to have in a receiver, and you get a lot of experience with it. I do think that you could get him for around that $11 million mark, and I think that's totally feasible for the Kansas City Chiefs, considering that they owe MVS $15 million this coming year, and we're not paying them that. We're either cutting them or restructuring them, so there's going to be money to play with. If you want to keep it, I don't know how they do that, right? It's not going to stay positional as far as finances go. Right. But either way, if you just break it down and look at it that simple, I mean, yeah, they could totally have a guy like that. Now, he is turning 32 coming up soon, so you're not going to have him for a big, long period of time. But I think Tyler Lockett would be a very good weapon for at least the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. But the 32 years old is the big deal. This is what his contract looks like right now. He was signed for a 4-year, $69 million deal, but this is his potential out. He does draw almost $20 million in dead cap, 19.7. So, I mean, it's an 11. He's going to garner almost $28 million cap hit. And if they cut him, it's a $20 million dead cap. So, I mean, he saves them what? $7 million? I still don't know if that's good enough. It may be something they look at. The other thing I kind of want to look at is, let's look at his PFF stuff. A lot of people say, hey, at that age, he's too old. But he was 21st in the league in targets, and this is with Geno frickin' Smith, man. Like, that is just
DK Metcalf on the team.
Right. So, he posted a 78.1 overall PFF grade, a 77.6 receiving grade. And then if you look, he had 117 targets, 79 receptions for 894 receiving yards. He almost hit 1,000 yards this past season. 5 receiving touchdowns. He only had 4 drops. That's a big number, 4 drops. He averaged 11.3 per reception. He only got 2.8 yards after the catch per reception. So basically he catches it and he goes down. 90% or 90.2 target rate when Geno looked his way. Steve, I don't know about it, man. I think there's good and there's bad here. The bad is, will Brett Veach pay a 32-year-old wide receiver $11 million per year? And even if he does, is he going to be as effective as a Hollywood Brown that you may have to pay just a few more million to? But is he more effective than a Hollywood Brown or even a Calvin Ridley at this point?
I think the crazy thing about it is, Mike, is I don't know if he would be more effective than those guys, but I think we'd be equally effective as those guys, even at his age. I feel like Tyler Lockett, like I said, he's a smart player. He's got a lot of experience under his belt. He's been around for a minute now, 32 years old. But like you just looked at his stats from last season, Mike, he's still putting up. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's still able to do it. I think if you look at it from the standpoint of maybe I can get him cheaper than Calvin Ridley or Marquise Brown, get equal to on the production side of it, maybe I take him for 2 years. And then we can work. We have plenty of time to work it out in the meantime. Just wanted to take a quick second to tell you guys to head over to merch.allchiefedup.com and check out our t-shirts, hoodies, hats, whatever you want. Rep the channel, rep your favorite team. It's all right here together at merch.allchiefedup.com until the end of February. You can use the promo code champions for free shipping and all of that. And of course, the Kansas City Strong shirts, all of those proceeds are going to go to the Casey Strong Foundation. So please get over there, support the channel, and grab yourself some merch at merch.allchiefedup.com.
Right. And another thing too, a lot of people say, hey, he's injury prone. He's injury prone. He's injury prone. I've heard that a few times. He's not. Right. He's not. Since 2015, he played 16 games. 2016, 15 games. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, he played in 16 games. This past season, he played in 17 games. Right. So he's not really missing a lot of time. He's just not. I think that's a weird narrative that comes with Tyler Lockett. Look, he's a K-State guy. A lot of guys are familiar with him. Do I think he's a good weapon? I think any receiver, and this is going to just irritate a lot of people, by the way, I think anything's is an upgrade over MVS. Look, I like MVS. I want to say I like him as a person, right? I feel like he's a good guy. But I just do not think that 7 catches in the postseason for like 130-ish, 140 yards and a touchdown is enough to justify coming back and having another year in which you were paid that much money. Again, I feel like MVS either he's got to restructure or he's got to go. And if he goes, Tyler Lockett's a pretty good option. Now, I will say they're not the same kind of receiver, 100%, no. But they will both stretch the field. So if you go at it that way, that's what MVS did. He ran wind sprints.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this for a second. With just a few wide receivers that we've brought up on a regular basis that we know are going to be free agents,
right?
Or then like Tyler Lockett being a potential cap casualty over there in Seattle. If I told you can have A or B, and A is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and then B is Tyler Lockett, who you taking?
I'll take Tyler Lockett.
Calvin Ridley, who you taking?
I'm going to take Ridley.
Marquise Brown, who you taking?
I'm taking Hollywood. I think Hollywood is very underrated for this offense.
No receiver that we've talked about that would be less effective than Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And the reason why, Mike, is it would take a hell of a tank job for someone to be as ineffective as that guy has been all season long this year. Yes, he was clutch.
Hey, you're right,
he was
man.
Clutch. He was clutch in the playoffs. He was, and I'll give him his flowers for that. I even said I would take the ass off his name, even though he ran backwards and pulled a Demarcus Robinson in the most critical drive of the season.
Steve, you just can't let him have it, can you?
Well, my thing is like I said, you said it best, I guess. Like, I don't hate the guy personally or nothing like that, but the money that he makes and what he produces does not equal up on any planet.
Yeah, you're right. Planet. Hey guys, if you didn't know by now, we partnered up with our friends over at FOCO. We're bringing you all kinds of Chiefs merchandise. Use our code CHIEFEDUP10 and get your Super Bowl champions back-to-back merchandise. We've got bobbleheads with Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones. We even got KC Wolf. We've got plenty of others over there. You can go check them out. Plus, they sell tumblers. They sell gnomes. They sell wristbands, Steve. Look at that one. But yeah, they've got everything. Check the description. Hit up our link. Let them know All Chiefed Up sent you, and grab yourself something commemorative from FOCO. You're right. I'll bring this up right here. Let's make this full screen for everyone. This is our boy, Nick Spano. We've talked about him all week long because this is the guy that sparked a lot of outrage this week with a lot of this stuff. But he's showing some surprise cuts at wide receiver. Now, you will see Marquez Valdes-Scantling on the list. Now, I don't think that's a surprise cut. And he does not put that you have to do this post-June 1st. So this can be at any point in the offseason, okay? But look at this list of surprise cuts that he think could happen. Now, they're all not going to happen, Steve. But there's some names on this list that is very interesting. You have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, both from the Chargers. He did list Tyler Lockett. D-Hop is back on that list. Cortland Sutton, if they cut him after June 1st, they will save $13.5 million. Hunter Renfro's on that list. That is another slot guy, but he is a weapon that can get open and create after the catch. Deontay Johnson. Now, look, Deontay Johnson was a guy that I liked, but this past year, he showed his ass. He didn't want to block. He didn't want to do a lot, and I don't know if that was just frustration or what, but I think that's a cancer that just I don't like it, and I don't want it in the locker room. So for me personally, I'm going to say I don't like the Deontay Johnson thing, even though I was big on him a few years ago.
Right.
But you got Michael Gallup, Darius Slayton, and then you got some names that were rumored with the Chiefs years ago. Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, Zay Jones, Allen Robinson, and then there's a guy named Terrace Marshall Jr. on there who was rumored just this past offseason for the Chiefs. Steve, is there anybody on that list besides who we've been talking about, which was, MVS and Tyler Lockett? Anybody on this list that would catch your eye, would tickle your tits, Steve? Can I say that? What tickles? What tickles you, Steve? Like, what do you see on here?
It's your fancy, not your tits.
Okay.
So honestly, out of this list, there's a lot of guys on there that I do like, but I think there's one that's kind of just under the radar a little bit that I think is a much better receiver than I thought he was, and I noticed it this last season, and that's Zay Jones.
Okay.
What I saw him do with Trevor Lawrence over there in Jacksonville, I think Zay Jones is a pretty damn good receiver, to be quite honest, and it looked like somebody that we could use too, so maybe that's a guy you could look at on the cheaper side. I mean, there's a lot of good names on there, man. And I'll tell you, out of all those receivers, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is down there near the bottom of that list.
Oh, my God. You hate this fella.
I don't hate him, but that's just a fact.
Okay, look, here's what Zay Jones is up for, by the way. He signed a 3-year, $24 million. So they can't cut him. He will save. He's about 6.5 dead cap. He's free. He's going to earn 16.5, somewhere around that. So they're going to almost save $10 million for cutting him. But would you take him at the 3-year, $24 million mark? I mean, what is that? That's like basically $7.5, $8 million a year, right?
Eight.
So, do you like that for him? I mean, look, I'm going to be the first to say, is Zay Jones over MVS? Like 1,000%.
I would, yes. And it's not even that I think right off the bat, without questioning it, he's 1,000%. He's better. Right. I wouldn't say that, but I think we know what MVS has offered this offense, and we've seen it. Let's see what Zay Jones could do. But Mike, I've said this before, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm not a fan of signing Zay Jones either because he doesn't meet that tier that I want.
It's exactly what I was going to say. I thought Zay Jones was outside of your, what is it? The factor that you had going, like the elite factor. You want a guy that's going to come in and make a difference. I don't know if Zay Jones falls in that category. I kind of put him in the same category as a Gabe Davis. Like, you don't know what you're going to get with him.
Right. And that's why I said that. Like, I think it's intriguing. I think I liked what Zay Jones was able to do this last season, and it kind of opened my eyes a little bit to the receiver that he can be. I think he's a lot better than I thought. And that's intriguing and all. But I think if the Chiefs go after a receiver, like I've said, Mike, I want it to be a Calvin Ridley, a Hollywood Brown. I don't want anything less. Does Tyler Lockett
fit your mold?
Yes, I would take Tyler Lockett. I think I would slide him right in there with those two guys.
Who do you favor? Tyler Lockett, Ridley, who's the other one you just said?
Marquise Brown.
Okay, Hollywood Brown.
Right. So personal preference, I like Calvin Ridley. I've always been a fan of Calvin Ridley. Mike, I told you right here on this show, when he was suspended, why are we not trying to go after this guy?
He's your number one out of those three.
I believe so, but I do think Marquise Brown could potentially fit an offense just as well or better than Calvin Ridley. And Tyler Lockett, the only reason I put him in the same tier there is because I feel like he could fit in just as well, and he's got a lot of experience, man.
Right. I think I go Hollywood Brown number one, and I think I go Ridley at 2, and then Lockett at 3. But I will say the only reason I put Lockett at 3 is the age factor. He's a little older. Calvin Ridley, we've yet to really see what he could do in this league with a great quarterback. I think he could still fall into that, hey, like, what do you got here, right? He could kind of fall into that. So we'll see what it is. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Let us know in the comments, who do you like out of all these guys? Do you think Lockett is a good pickup? Would you rather see somebody else? I know we're going to see a lot of Mike Evans in there. I know we're going to see a lot of T. Higgins and probably a lot of Michael Pittmans, but I just don't know if these guys are in the ballpark of what we have to offer. But we'll talk about it, and we appreciate you for being here. Thanks for subscribing, hitting that bell. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.